All right, let's talk about Mali because something big just went down, and yeah, we are talking about midnight arrest, high-ranking generals dragged away, and whispers of a coup plot that could have shaken the entire country. Now, this isn't just the usual news; it's real-life political drama, and I'm breaking it all down for you today. Now, if you followed Mali's story, you know that there's this you know that Mali is a place that's been through so many coups. It had coups in 2020, 2021. It has jihadist insurgencies and a whole lot of political chaos for years, but this time this one feels different. So pay attention as I take you through what's really happening behind the scenes. First of all, the fact: Mali's government just arrested around 20 soldiers, including General Abbas Dembele, a former governor and a big name in the military. Now, these weren't just random low-ranking guys, no. We are talking about experienced officers accused of plotting to overthrow President Assimi Goïta. Now, the arrest went down in Kati, a military stronghold near the capital Bamako, where past coups actually happened or started, right? And now, is that a coincidence? Maybe not. I mean, here's the catch. Now, the government hasn't even given an official statement, and all we have now are just security sources, talking to the AFP. So the question is, why the secrecy? Is this a legitimate threat, or is someone cleaning the house? Now, that's not just it. Let's talk about General Dembele himself, because his arrest is huge, and this guy was once known as the governor of Mopti, a region drowning in jihadist violence. And he's not just some random officer. He's respected, he's connected, and he's also battle tested. So why would a guy like him risk a coup? Three theories that I come up with is that: one, perhaps he's genuinely against Goita's rule, maybe over military strategy or the Russia Wagner growing influence. Or secondly, maybe he's being framed in order to silence dissent in the army. It could be. And thirdly, I kind of think maybe this is a distraction, probably from Mali's failing war on terror or economic crisis. Already, I think I talked about, I referenced something like Mali's failing economic crisis since the coup, that brought in Assimi Goïta. Now, remember, Mali's government is backed by Wagner mercenaries. I think I dropped a video 2 days ago or 1 day ago on it. And the Wagner mercenaries and tensions between soldiers and foreign fighters are no longer secret between us already, or secret to the public. So could this be part of that power struggle? Now, here's why this matters. Mali is the king of coups. That is how I call them. I mean, since 2020 alone, they've had 2 successful takeovers, both led by, you already know, Assimi Goïta. Now, check something. President Goïta himself, these coups have been led by Goïta when he was a colonel, right? And so now, the guy now stopping coups is more like the same person who did coups. Ironic, right? But it kind of shows how unstable Mali politics are, where today's hero is more like tomorrow's prisoner. And let's not forget that every time Mali has a coup, violence spikes, economic crashes, and even civilians suffer. So if this plot was real, they could have thrown the country into another tailspin, as I see it. But now again, let's look again, another more like the elephant in the room, as I like to always call it. Now, why no official details? Does that not spark something? Why no press conference? Just anonymous leaks, That kind of screams that either the government is still hunting more conspirators, or probably maybe they're exaggerating to scare critics into silence. It could be, And think about this. If soldiers are turning on their own leaders, what does that say about morale, about trust? I mean, if even the army is divided, then how can Mali survive its bigger threats like the jihadists who are already taking over half the country already? So the big question is, where does Mali go from here? I kind of sense 3 possibilities. Maybe they could go ahead with more arrests. I mean, if this was a plot, then it means that the crackdown isn't over. Or they could go for a counter move. I mean, more like a counter move from the disgruntled troops might fight back. And then maybe we may see a radio silence where the government sweeps it under the rug, hoping that we forget. But here is the truth. I feel like Mali's people deserve better than endless coups and warlords. They've suffered a decade of war, and political games will not fix that. Although that's my take. And so I want to hear what your own take is. I want to drop it in the comment section. Even if it counters mine, I'm very much open to it. So I wanted to check, is this a real coup or a government power play? And is Mali heading for another meltdown? So let's dialogue. Let me hear your take on this one. If you've learned something, do me a favor and smash the like button and subscribe for more geopolitical analysis. So for now, stay curious and peace out.